What's up, friends? So we're now ready to take our planning drawing and put it to purpose. So we're gonna try this a little bit differently than what I've done in the past, because I just feel like I think I've got a better way. So we're gonna start by getting our sky color first. Mine is sky is yellow, so I get the yellow paper. This is the one I need to put my name on. So Mr. B. Obviously don't write Mr. B on your paper, write your name. And we're gonna flip that over. I'm gonna set that to the side. I'm gonna take my planning drawing and I'm gonna cut the sky off of it. Just right along the top of that farthest away row of mountains. Then I'm gonna take my top color, which here, for the furthest away, that's gonna be purple. Boom, purple paper. Line this up on there, and we're gonna use our planning drawing as like a progressive stencil. So we're gonna be chopping and then using it to match up our lines. So I'm gonna trace that. And then I'm gonna cut right on that line. The top part of this is gonna be scrap. The bottom part of this is what we want to keep. If your cut's not perfect, obviously, that's not a huge deal. So with my mountains cut, I'm gonna flip to the back. Now for this, we have to use the bottle glue. I'm aware that some of us might not have a lot of practice using this stuff, but that's another reason to use it. So first thing to be aware of when we use this kind of glue is that we want the nozzle to be touching the paper. That allows us to control better how much glue is coming out. So we touch our paper and we just kind of draw with it. You know, we don't want to be right on the edge, just a little bit in from the edge, and then just draw around. If you hold it up above your paper, you end up with way too much glue coming out. We don't want to go right up to the edge because the glue is going to spread some as we push it down. And we're going to very carefully pick it up, maybe. There we go. We're going to come back over to our sky piece and line up the edges. We want this, the bottom and the sides of this, to match up. Okay. All right, and then we can move that to the side. We come back to our planning drawing. Now I need to cut off the purple piece. Get rid of that. And then next one for me is gonna be blue is on top. Again, when we do the collage, we do the drawing, we work foreground to background. When we do the collage, we work background to foreground. We work the opposite way. Find a pencil. And then again, just cut the line. We want to be really, really careful when we're doing this that we are not taking anything off the sides of our paper. We want to only be cutting off the top of it. Put some glue on that bad boy again. Make sure we're making contact with the paper. And then just trace around. A little bit in the middle, a little zigzag across the middle. Lovely. Bring down our main piece, match up our edges. Lay it down, give it a good one of these to kind of make sure that glue underneath the paper spreads out. And then we're back to our planning drawing, where now we're gonna take off the blue piece. We're gonna cut that right out of there. And now I'm ready for green. Green is my top. Line up our piece, trace our line. It's all about the process, just taking your time and moving through. If there's a little bit of that blue that ends up showing, you know what? That's just gonna be all right. We are not gonna stress over that. We just wanna see these layers showing up. Now, after you cut a piece, make sure that you flip it over and put the glue on the back of that piece so that it lines up with everything we already have on the paper. Sometimes you just need to give the bottle a little shake, just like so. Match up our edges. Blue paper, it seems like, I guess it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. Okay, press it down, come back to our plan, remove the top section, which right now is the green, which will leave us with my last piece, which is my foreground of the brown. And we're just gonna kind of go get each piece of construction paper as we need it instead of getting them all at one time. I've noticed that that kind of gets overwhelming for people, and we don't want that. We want this to be enjoyable and have a good result. We don't want to stress ourselves out over it. Just take your time, and it's going to be awesome. I'm sure of it. Again, flip my paper over. Now, this is a really small piece, so I don't think I'm going to trace the whole thing. I'm just going to hit it with the quick zigzag. Line everything up, and boom, look at that. It looks pretty close to what my planning drawing left out. And then we come to sun and clouds, which would be the very, very last thing we do. So these we don't really need to match perfectly to what we had. And mine are red, yours might be a different color. And that's okay, because you got to choose where you did those things. But one thing that we do want to make sure of here is with our clouds, we want 3 clouds. We want one of them that's gonna be small, one of them that's gonna be medium, and then one that's gonna be pretty big. Now with a cloud, we don't really need to shape the bottom of this. We just need to shape the top of it, because if it's a long ways away, usually a cloud is gonna look like it has a little bit of a flat bottom side to it. Our smallest cloud, we want that to go right near our horizon, right near our furthest away mountains. And then our medium cloud, we want to place in the middle of our sky. Not all the way at the top of the sky, not all the way at the bottom of the sky. We'll say right there. And then our biggest cloud, we want to put it up at the very, very top of our paper. We want it to touch the top. And then we can put our sun wherever we want. Now, if you have your sun where it's not all the way in the sky, like it's coming down and it's attached, or it's coming up from behind the mountains, then we would need to adjust the order that we do things a little bit, because we would need to get our sun in place before we do the mountains, because we don't want to be trying to peel that up. But there we go. There's our completed landscape collage, complete with foreground, middle ground, and background. Cannot wait to see how yours turn out.